This position in 1963, Grandmaster Nona performs one of the most brutal attacks I've ever seen. Let's see what happens here. So in the game, black is up a pawn, but white has very impressive development. She's already castled and has all of her pieces well centralized in the attack. But black is very solid and is one move away from castling. If black can castle the king to safety, they'll simply be up a pawn. So how do we keep the king in the center of the board? It doesn't look too obvious. Well, Nona finds the very clever knight to h5. This sacrifices the knight because it comes with an attack on the bishop on g7. And you might be thinking, okay, I can just castle and defend the bishop. But if you castle, we take the bishop, and when they recapture, bishop to f6 check. The king would drop back, and here we would just play the simple queen to d2. And stopping checkmate along the dark squares is impossible. So you can't actually castle in this position, and the best move is just taking the knight. But now, what do? You just sacrifice the knight. Well, Nona finds the thunderbolt rook takes f7, sacrificing the rook to keep the king in the center of the board. And this sacrifice cannot be accepted. If you take the rook, we take on h5. And wherever the king moves to, rook to f1, and you're getting checkmated. So you can't take the rook, and the opponent plays queen to e5. This defends the bishop on g7. Also, it comes with a very clever idea. If you play the rather obvious queen takes h5, the opponent would sacrifice the queen. And once you recapture, he'd take the rook. And in this position, black has two pieces and a rook for the queen and can try to hold on. But Nona doesn't even let that happen. And in this position, finds the striking rook to f5, sacrificing the rook, attacking the queen, and disconnecting the queen's vision towards the bishop. If you take the rook with the pawn, this opens up this monster light-squared bishop, and queen takes h5 would lead to checkmate in 2. So the best you can do in this position is just sacrifice the queen and be left in a hopeless position. So the opponent resigns the game.